Hello, welcome to another Liam A6 YouTube video. Dude, today we're going to be talking about the AYN Thor. Again, you may be asking, why do you only make AYN Thor videos? Well, I tried making a video that wasn't about the AYN Thor one time, and it did really bad. So, lesson learned, I guess. We're gonna milk this thing for all it's got. Today, I'm out of breath again, dude. These intros I do, I don't have the stamina for it. So today, I'm gonna walk you through how to convert your AYN Thor into a 3DS. Kind of, sort of, a little bit. You know me, clickbaity ass titles, man. This isn't doing really exactly that. Think about it like this. You can basically emulate the 3DS operating system on your Thor, and that's what we're doing. So, not perfect, but it's very cool. And if you only care about 3DS games and that's all you want to do, then this could be something you might want to use. I don't know. Or if you're more used to the 3DS user interface, then this might pique your interest, maybe. Quite possibly. Anyway, if you've emulated 3DS games before, you're probably familiar with the software Azahar. It's an app you can download on Android. I downloaded it through Obtanium. Now, Azahar is cool because it lets you take your 3DS files, your system files, on a modded 3DS, bring them over to Azahar, and then run the 3DS operating system right from Azahar. But I don't have a 3DS, or a modded 3DS for that matter. So there's this other version called Azahar Plus. And when I first read about all this, I was like, oh great, now I gotta buy this app. But no, it's free. It's Azahar Plus, but it's also free. So I'll put the link for that down below. All you have to do is add a new app in Obtanium, put that link there, and hit download. And it just works. So I picked up Azahar Plus and then I started recording. So I have some footage here that I'm gonna walk through, and this is basically gonna be me showing you how to get it set up. It's not a super in-depth tutorial because I basically just hit the record button and then fiddled around with it until I got it working. So yeah, I'm gonna be walking you through that. There's only one other YouTube video I really noticed on YouTube walking people through this. So maybe this can help someone out there who had questions about that one or whatever. I don't know. So if you already have Azahar installed, just leave it for now. Don't mess with it. Don't remove it or anything. I think I'm going to eventually remove Azahar from my device and just keep rolling with Azahar Plus. But what I did, just because I have a bunch of 3DS games that have saves going on and I didn't want to mess with any of that, in the setup of Azahar Plus, you can actually set your user data file or folder to your regular Azahar user data folder. So it all links up together. So I did test this to make sure, and I'm playing through Ocarina of Time right now for the 3DS, and it did save like the saves that I had going on Azahar in Azahar Plus. So that was all working, no problem. So if you follow through the way I'm doing it here, you'll have no problems with that. Don't mind me. I'm just gaming mid-video here, but I'm going to make sure I have this directory correct. Yeah, okay. So for me, on my SD card, I have documents, and inside of documents, I have a folder called Azahar user data. That is my Azahar user data that I'm using on normal Azahar. So that's what I set it to on Azahar Plus. Now it might be different for you because I think you can set it to a custom location anywhere on the device. So you might want to go double check in Azahar, see where your user data folder is, and set it to the same folder in Azahar Plus in the setup. In addition to setting your user data folder, you also have to pick your ROMs folder. That will also be the same as whatever you have set in Azahar, assuming your Azahar is working. That's just where you have all your 3DS ROMs installed. Now, as you can see, once you boot it up after the setup, you can already see all my games that I have there. So they're all showing up properly. That's how you know you've done it correctly. Now, if you messed up the user data folder, that won't be apparent yet. That'll only be apparent once you boot up a game you've already been playing and it's getting you to start from scratch. So if you get to that point, back up a little bit.
Bag up, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry.
And make sure you get that user data folder set up correctly. Now, once you're at the spot where you see all your games, you're gonna wanna go to the top left 3 dots button and click that. That'll bring you to the general settings of the app. From there, you can scroll down and see the download system files button. You're gonna wanna click that. It'll give you a warning. Didn't even read it, so feel free to read that. Then here you want to select the region of your system files. Now, for me, I just picked USA. It could make a difference depending on the ROMs that you're using. Probably noticed if you're downloading ROMs the no way, it'll have like Europe or USA or JPN or whatever in brackets next to the ROM. That might matter, not sure, but I went USA for everything just because I'm in Canada and that's what all the games here are. So I selected USA for system files. And then once you've selected the region you want, go ahead and hit download system files. And from there, it'll just download whatever it needs and you just have to give it a sec. It didn't take too long. I think it just took like a minute for me. Then it'll tell you download is complete and it'll give you a big button to start the system files. Now, from here, I kind of wanted to see the nostalgic setup experience of the 3DS. I don't think it's really required, and you probably don't have to do it, but I turned this setting on, run system setup when home menu is launched. Then if you go ahead and hit start, you will see the 3DS boot screen. Then from here, as I'm sure you remember in the regular Azahar app, it by default shows you the on-screen buttons. I went to just hide those. I picked the language that I speak. Then here, I did run into some issues. The 3DS screen check. Now this one caught me off guard. You don't have a 3DS slider on your AYN Thor, or at least I don't have one on mine. So there is a workaround for this, and it took me an embarrassing amount of time to find it. In the settings, if you go to settings, then graphics, and scroll down a little bit, you'll see stereoscopic 3D mode and depth. Now, I did enable the stereoscopic 3D mode just to see if that might fix it, but depth is what is basically the slider, essentially. That is the slider that it wants you to interact with to get through that part of the setup. So I just took that depth, turned it all the way up, and then closed out of the settings, and I got through it. So everything was all good. From there, it'll just tell you to activate the 3D mode or whatever, and then do some graphic stuff. Kind of underwhelming when you don't have 3D on the device, but whatever. And then it takes you to the more standardized basic setup. So date and time, profile, internet settings, and parental controls. From here, I went and turned the depth all the way back down. Not sure if it even makes a difference on this screen, probably doesn't, but it was just, I was thinking about it. So I was like, you know what, just in case this causes me problems later on, we're turning it off. So from here, I just set the date and time. I put in my name, completely doxed myself, and put in my my date of birth and where I live, down to the province. Interesting. Not sure why they need to know that. Maybe tax stuff? I don't really know. And then, okay, this is what you want to not do. Don't mess with the internet settings. Don't do that. I went and tried to set it up. Now, the funny part about this is if you look in the top left corner, it says I'm connected to the internet. So why I would go and try to connect to the internet again, I have no idea, man. But I went and did it, and you'll see what happens. It'll take you through the usual setup, new connection, manual setup, and then search for networks, and bricked. You're stuck here. So don't do that. I sat and waited for this for quite some time. Nothing happened. I had to basically restart the whole setup all over again. So for your mental sanity, I'll skip through that all over again. The magic of editing. So once you get back to the internet settings, you will hit wait till later instead of setup. Then it'll ask you to set up parental controls. I hit no, thank you. It'll ask you to do a system transfer if you want to do that. I hit no because I don't have another system. I'm not entirely sure if that works or not. Maybe it does, and that would be pretty cool if it did. Although I doubt it because it uses Nintendo Network ID, which probably doesn't like emulating the operating system on an Android phone, essentially. So I'd recommend not doing that. From here, it'll tell you the settings have all been set up and you're good to go. And it'll tell you to hit the home button. Now, I went and bound my home button to right stick, like pushing right stick in. I don't think that's a possible button on the 3DS. It's been a long time since I've had my 3DS, but I don't think that button exists on the 3DS. So I think you're pretty safe to set that as the home button. It would be cool if the AYN button could act as the home button though. That would be kind of neat. It would probably break the whole system, but you can see the arrows pointing right to it. The urge to press that button was immense. And then once you have hit the home button, you will see the 3DS operating system running right here on your Thor. So you can see all of the apps down below. I'm not sure how many of those actually work. I do know that Azahar Plus does have its own form of Street Pass, and I think it uses zips to pass data back and forth if you want to get into that. I'm not getting into that in this video, but I believe it's possible. I did try to experiment a little bit with the internet browser here. As a shock to nobody, it did not work. In fact, not only did it not work, but it not worked so bad that I also froze the whole thing again. So I did have to restart, but once you've done the entire setup, you will not have to do that again. So it just brought me right back to the home screen once I rebooted. Now, if you want to add games to the home screen, there's a little more to it than just grabbing your ROMs. You actually have to install what's called a CIA file to the system itself. So it doesn't just index what's in the ROMs folder. You have to deliberately install it in the Azahar settings. So I went and grabbed the CIA file for Ocarina of Time. Now, like I mentioned before, I've been playing that game and I already have the ROM. I think it might be .3ds or something like that. But I did go and get a CIA version of it and I installed it right to the system just to see what would happen. After I did that, I went back to the download system files button. I hit launch. It brought me the UI again. And as you will see, there's a little present with Ocarina of Time inside. From there, I opened it up and booted it up, and it gives you the 3DS loading screen, and you can see the little Triforce down there, which was a very good sign, and it boots. And you'll see I do have my little character Liam there with his 5 hearts. So it did save the data that I had on the other version of Azahar, which has everything to do with those user data files. So make sure you get that right. And then from here, just to see what the experience is like if you did want to completely live inside of this 3DS user interface, I pushed in the right stick to get back to home, and I got hit with an error message, a fatal error. Not sure what that was all about. I just kind of hit okay and went on my way, and it didn't break anything. The home button just kind of worked after that, and it suspended the game, brought me the UI, and you can just go right back into the game, and it was still working. So that error didn't really seem that fatal to me, but that was the only time I hit that error. I went back in and experimented more with this, and there were no issues. So yeah, I don't really know what that was. I ignored it and it went away. Those are my favorite kind of errors. Anyway, guys, this was a shorter video, but I thought this was a really cool concept, and I feel like most people who are interested in the Thor want to do quite a bit of DS gaming. So a 3DS fully functioning UI, I think, is really cool. Now on the bottom screen, the black bars, a little annoying, can't lie, especially if you're not using the black AYN Thor. But yeah, I think this is a really cool concept. I don't think I'll personally be using this 3DS user interface setup. It's way easier for me to just have a shortcut to a 3DS ROM in my like Cocoon layout and just boot it from there. Suspending and all that stuff is cool, but it kind of just works that way anyway without the whole 3DS setup. Like I can just swipe up from the bottom of the top screen and open up other apps. Like Android handles suspending apps on its own anyway, so I don't see a ton of value in it, but for those of you that just want the full-on one-to-one Thor to 3DS experience, this might be for you. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I'd appreciate it if you like and subscribe, and yeah, next video will be game testing. I'm going to test the PC games that you guys recommended, as many as I can. I don't own all of those games, so that kind of brings me back to like and subscribe, because I gotta buy games. I gotta buy games, man. So yeah, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Have a good day. Later.